I haven't seen it for a little while. Dave Lowndes, long-standing member. Skipper and original Roger Dimmer. Young lad. Yeah. Chris Hayes, the chief engineer. Paul Ogden, Mr. another art director. And Bob Adam, one of the originals who was So just be very careful at the end of the gangway with the chains and ropes. If you just go forward, that is the wheelhouse.
Lord Mayor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. As Chairman of the esteemed Tug Kerne Preservation Society, I have the honour to welcome you all here today to Sandon Dock on this very special occasion. Some 47 years ago, a small group of young men hatched an idea to preserve the Mersey's last coal-fired steamship, which was lying somewhat abandoned in the dock adjacent to where we are now, which is just over there now and is covered with a waste treatment plant. Their future was very much in doubt, but between the group they managed to raise sufficient funds to outbid the scrapman by £25 and secure the ownership of the 1913 steam Tug Kerne. This small group of enthusiasts could never in their wildest dreams have imagined that 4 decades later, due to their dogged persistence, skill and commitment, and that of the increasing number of like-minded volunteers who joined the group, that this venerable old tug would still be afloat and operational to this day. Our group has taken great pleasure over the last 40-odd years, showing many visitors around the vessel and receiving enthusiastic support. But there is no greater honour than to be recognised by our Sovereign and to receive the highest award that can be bestowed on an organisation such as ours, the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service. It's my privilege, on behalf of the volunteers, to extend a special welcome to the Lord Lieutenant, who is here today to present the award on behalf of Her Majesty. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that. It's such a pleasure to be here. It's a wonderful ship. We've just had the opportunity to walk around it, and I must say it's amazing. And what's been achieved is fantastic. Before I give the award, I'd like to introduce Samantha, who's going to give you a little bit of background to the award and the assessment process. So, over to you. Thank you very much.
Lord Lieutenant, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you very much for your kind invitation to us this afternoon. The Queen's Award for Voluntary Service is an annual award made to recognise and reward excellence in voluntary activities. It's given for outstanding achievement by groups of volunteers who regularly devote their time and energy to ensure that what they do makes a difference. In the case of the Steam Tug Kerne Preservation Society, volunteer focus has been on preserving heritage and keeping alive the memory of those great days when seagoing vessels were powered by steam. And I certainly have thoroughly enjoyed the opportunity to see it and be part of that. The Queen's Award for Voluntary Service is the highest award given to volunteer groups across the United Kingdom. Those who receive the award have displayed the highest standards of voluntary work. Her Majesty the Queen takes a great interest in the diverse range of activities undertaken in the pursuit of organisations who ensure that our past is brought to the fore and preserved for generations to come. This commitment is rightly recognised. But it doesn't come easily. There is an assessment process. The Cabinet Office Selection Panel has the task of determining the suitability of the organisation for the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service. The process is rigorous and the evidence required for a successful outcome is critical. The organisation is responsible for providing the evidence, as indeed all of you have done. This is done during the assessment phase undertaken by the Merseyside Lieutenancy. The task is to seek out the evidence to determine the suitability of the steam Tug Kerne Preservation Society for the award. Thereafter, they must document this for submission to the Lord Lieutenant for consideration of his support. So, a snapshot of some of the areas that were considered were these. Was there a need for the services of the organisation? Did the work of the volunteers of Steam Tug Kerne Preservation Society make a difference to its members and to the wider community? What obstacles did the organisation have to overcome to achieve its objectives? And of course there was a look at volunteering standards. Did the organisation have a volunteer structure with specified roles, and did it provide relevant training and support to new members? The Lord Lieutenant, in considering this nomination, concluded that the volunteers of the Steam Tug Kerne Preservation Society exemplified the very best in volunteering. And in the submission to the Cabinet Office, the Lord Lieutenant gave this nomination his unequivocal support. My congratulations to all.
Thank you so much. Mr. Chairman, Lord Mayor, everybody. As Her Majesty's Lord Lieutenant, it's my great pleasure to be here today to present the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service on behalf of Her Majesty the Queen to the volunteers of the Steam Tug Kerne Preservation Society. In our county, as elsewhere in the country, many public-spirited people seek to improve their neighbourhood and the quality of life of their neighbours. To do this, they may join voluntary organisations of many different kinds. People commit much time and energy to a very diverse range of activities to support communities, preserve our heritage, protect the environment, to name but a few, and all for the betterment of our country and its people. What a poor place we would live in without these activities. We cannot imagine our communities without such enthusiasm, spirit and hard work. I have been struck since I became Lord Lieutenant, just a little less than a year ago, by just how many people there are who are willing to commit to volunteering in this way. Each year it becomes obvious that there are some volunteer organisations whose qualities stand out among all those doing such good work, showing the very best that volunteers can achieve. Today we are here to celebrate an exceptional project to preserve a little of our past for the benefit of future generations. Without your society, the Steam Tug Kerne would have been scrapped in 1971. Kerne's importance to the maritime heritage of this country is recognised by national historic ships, registering her alongside vessels such as HMS Victory and Cutty as of preeminent national or regional importance. Today the Kerne is the only remaining operational steam tug in the UK of the once numerous Thames lighterage Type A class. It's the last vessel built by Montrose, the last Admiralty steam vessel to see service in both world wars, the last Mersey lighterage steam tug, of which there were once over 150. She has the last steam engine built by Speedwell Ironworks in Scotland, and the last marine steam boiler built by Chatham Naval Dockyard, still in service. So there's plenty of things there. Very grateful to our country. In 1971, 6 teenagers, I think most of them are here today, interested in steam propulsion, bought the Kerne from a Liverpool operator to keep her afloat as an operating vessel. Today there are 25 volunteers supported by 109 subscribing members who refit, repair and maintain her in Liverpool and steam her to various venues in the region to let her to an industry hub. Those who understand boats and the sea know only too well the difficulties faced in maintaining an ageing vessel over a sustained period. A combination of seawater and a temperamental climate mean that the forces of decay are hard to combat, and yet a deep-seated love of the heritage has enabled this battle to be won, and today the volunteers of the Steam Tug Kerne Preservation Society are here to receive the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service. Such awards are not given lightly. There is a rigorous selection process which you've heard about, conducted by the Honours and Awards Secretariat in the Cabinet Office. It's a real challenge in determining just who deserves to be singled out to receive this high award. The Society's journey has been supported by many others. First of all, the families of the volunteers. We owe them all a debt of gratitude for indulging and supporting the passions of you boat lovers. Thank you. I can see you here. The ones who are smiling. We must also acknowledge the many professionals in the arts of engineering and shipbuilding who have given their services to help the cause. To them I say thank you for supporting this outstanding volunteer group. This afternoon I bring the warmest good wishes and thanks of Her Majesty the Queen, who sends to the volunteers and to your families and friends her best wishes and congratulations. Her Majesty considers that through your determination, pride and service, without seeking financial reward, you are richly deserving of this award. I am sure that Her Majesty would have liked to be here in person to present this award, but for obvious reasons this is not possible. Therefore it is with great pleasure that I, as her Lord Lieutenant of Merseyside, her representative in this county, to undertake the important task of presenting the award on her behalf. Thank you.
Alan, do you want to come forward here, please? Yeah.
There we are, Alan. Here is the certificate, and here is the award itself.
Thank you, sir.
There we go. That's handsome.
It is
I
indeed.
have to find somewhere on the vessel to put it. Stick it down, I would.
Indeed I will.
Right. We've got some on behalf of the volunteers.
Lord Lieutenant, Deputy Lieutenant, Lord Mayor, our distinguished guests, just on behalf of the volunteers of the Steam Tug Kerne, I'd like to say how pleased and delighted we are to receive this award presented here today and on behalf of Her Majesty. It's very gracious of her. We are extremely pleased and highly delighted to have been honoured in this way. I think it is a recognition of all the hard work that is put in by the team of people who are assembled, and also their other halves, as has been referred to, who provide some tremendous background support as well. I think we must also recognise that without the support of various other bodies and organisations, we as volunteers wouldn't have been able to carry out this significant work that's required to keep this vessel maintained and in operation. In particular, I think that we need to recognise the debt of gratitude that we have to organisations such as Camel Laird's for the work that they've carried out on the vessel over the years on our behalf. Also to United Utilities, who provide us with facilities here, and Peel Ports, in whose docks we're sitting. And not least the Heritage Lottery Fund, who, without the tremendous support we received off them and a very generous grant, again we wouldn't have been able to carry out the works that have been undertaken on the vessel in the last few years. We've got to carry on that process. We'll be still holding out our begging bowl for more funds, because it literally is a never-ending project. So once again, on behalf of the volunteers, I'd like to thank you, sir, for presenting this award to us and say how very pleased, delighted and honoured we are to have received it. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that, and much appreciated. And this has been a really lovely day.